Alrighty, hi everyone, and welcome to our training this afternoon. Today we have Disability Rights California here to talk about vocational services, including what the Department of Rehabilitation has to offer, and how DRC's own client assistance program can also support your student. First, for anyone who's new here, we want to briefly talk about what the FRC does here in San Mateo County. We serve families who have children with disabilities between the ages 0 to 22. We are staffed by parents and caregivers of children and young adults with disabilities, and we provide support, information, resources, and referrals to navigate the systems that are out there. We also offer trainings, support groups, a resource binder, and a monthly e-newsletter. We are funded in part by the Department of Developmental Services, DDS, as well as the California Department of Education under the Special Education Division. I want to give a disclaimer that the FRC is not a legal firm or legal services agency, and we cannot provide any legal advice. Any information provided by us should not be considered a means of taking the place of legal advice that must be obtained through an attorney. With that, we invite you all to connect with us, and we'll go ahead and put our contact information in the chat. Okay, next we just want to go over some general housekeeping items to make sure our training runs smoothly this afternoon. We will be recording this training to make available on our FRC video library, so we ask that you please mute yourself when not speaking, and please be respectful throughout this training. Today's training will be presented in English, and then we are also offering this training in Spanish on Wednesday. And I'll go ahead and put the registration link for that in the chat. We are offering live automated captions today, so if you'd like to view the captions, you can go to your Zoom settings bar. It might be at the bottom of your screen. You can find the CC icon and then click to show captions. We will do Q&A at the end of the presentation. We ask that you please save your questions for the end, as we'll be pausing the recording for the segment. During this time, you can use the chat box or raise hand feature for any questions and comments. And we encourage you to refrain from sharing any names or detailed information to protect your privacy. After this training, we will be sending out 2 surveys, one for us, the FRC, and then one for disability rights, to collect your feedback on how this training went. Our surveys are anonymous and help us understand how to improve our trainings, and most importantly, allow us to continue offering these trainings for the community. And last, we will be sending out a follow-up email tomorrow with the materials from this training. Okay, and I'll turn it over to Raymond from Disability Rights. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, and thank you again for having us. Just real quick, someone asked how long is this session? It's till 5:30, correct?
Correct, yes, and I'll go ahead and put that in the chat as well.
Thank you. Excuse me. So my name is Raymond. I am an advocate with Disability Rights California. Before we officially get started, I'd like to give a quick overview of our agency and what we do, in case you're not familiar. Disability Rights California, or DRC, we are a statewide nonprofit, and we provide free legal services to people with disabilities with any disability-related issues. So we have attorneys and advocates that can help with different subject matter. Examples are access or discrimination with housing, with transportation, with education, which includes special education and higher education. We can also help with public health benefits, such as Medi-Cal, in-home supportive services, and Social Security overpayment issue that relates to work. And within our agency, we also have different programs, examples of which are our Office of Client Rights Advocacy. They specialize in helping clients of the regional center, and our Client Assistant program, which helps clients of the Department of Rehabilitation, which we'll learn more here today. If you'd like to make an appointment and speak with one of our advocates one-on-one, you can reach us at our phone number. Our intake line is 800-776-5746. This is in the chat. And our phone lines are open Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. There's also an online intake form as well. If you'd like to schedule a call, you can fill out the online intake form, and one of our advocates will get in touch with you as soon as possible. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it to one of our team today, Lonnie, to introduce our presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. I'd like to formally introduce Lisa Navarro. She is our senior advocate within the Clients Assistance Program. She has worked for Disability Rights California since 1999. She first began her career as an advocate with the Office of Clients' Rights Advocacy. It is one of our sister organizations that provides assistance to clients of the Regional Center. Since relocating in 2009, her work focused mainly on helping clients obtain vocational rehab services from the Department of Rehabilitation. Thank you, everyone, and I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Hello. I am happy to be here with you and to speak about things that I have been handling for a long time and I really enjoy. In my introduction that Lonnie had stated to you, there was some gaps in there as far as I want you to know that I've handled other issues such as special education, IHSS, Medi-Cal, Social Security. I'm still doing some Social Security on issues related to work where people get overpayments because they're working or there's a cessation, a stop in benefits because of working. In addition to that, for the last almost 2 years, I've been assisting people who have employment issues related to reasonable accommodations on the job. And that is a real big problems for people with disabilities in trying to access the laws and the understanding on how to request for an accommodation already on the job or even in the interview process, application process. And because there are many laws that our individuals with disabilities have I concentrate in the realm of employment. So employment related to vocational rehabilitation, employment related to Social Security, and employment related to work incentives. All right. So, and today we're going to talk about Department of Rehabilitation and Employment Services. And I understand the questions I will be answering at the end. So please write down your questions and I will try to go back and if it's, a question from way back in the beginning, the middle, and not towards the end. So we will get through this together. Next slide. Again, we'll talk about the Client Assistance Program, which is pretty much the advocacy provided to individuals who are trying to use the Department of Rehabilitation or trying to access assistance with the Independent Living Center. We'll talk about the Department of Rehabilitation, who is eligible, how to get those services, and what to do if you disagree with any of their decisions. Next slide. So what is the Client Assistance Program? And we'll call for short CAP, CAP. We help individuals, again, as I mentioned, who are clients or want to be clients of Department of Rehabilitation, Independent Living Centers, and other sister rehabilitation agencies. We provide free information and counseling and advocate for consumers. We help you understand the process of obtaining services and provide you with guidance along the way. We believe in you. We believe in whomever is the person that wants to access Department of Rehabilitation services. Next slide. You can contact CAP, an advocate, by calling Disability Rights, and our numbers are on the screen. If you need an interpreter, we can provide that. And our website, which is www.disabilityrightsca.org. There's a lot of information on the website related to what I'm talking about, related to Social Security work incentives, related to employment services as far as reasonable accommodations. Next slide, please. The department provides services to people with disabilities to help them obtain employment, live more independent lives. These are called vocational rehabilitation services. Next slide. So what kind of services does DOR, for short, I'll say DOR instead of Department of Rehabilitation, that they provide? So some of these are pre-employment transition services, and those are for mostly youth, 16 years and up to the age of 21 or 22 in some cases. And then that one is specific to youth. Job training, including college and trade school, tutoring, assistive technology, readers, tools, equipment, licenses, employment supports. These are for adults and teenagers. Next slide. And continued services is also transportation for vocational services, independent living skills, language and ASL interpreters, some dental and medical services, orientation and mobility service for those who are blind, post-employment to help you keep your job, and other goods and services. That other goods and services is the most broadest. So there's always a reason to talk and determine in the regulations if your need or your request would be supported by the regulations. Next slide. And what is WIOA? And it stands for Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which is new and was introduced and passed in 2014. It's a law designed to help people who want to work. Certain rules in it are very favorable for people with disabilities. They're more expansive. For example, it says that DOR must provide certain transition services to students with disabilities. In fact, 15% of their budget is to be spent on teaching youth before they leave high school, so that they are thinking about vocation, they're thinking about a job, they're thinking about, what they want to do in the future. And in fact, their IEPs in school, where there's a section that says transition, that section be very comprehensive, especially the discussion, especially, an offer if the individual is still in school and has regional center and can invite the Department of Rehabilitation to that meeting, could have a really robust discussion and really listen to what the student is saying and listen to what their ideas of what their adult future looks like for them. Next slide. So what's competitive integrated employment, CIE? So that means jobs where people with disabilities and people without disabilities work in the same place. They have equal opportunities to advance in their careers and all receive at least minimum wage. And there has been a push to get rid of all of those entities and supposed, job training for people with disabilities that are in training for like 20 years and they're being paid 50 cents an hour. So that it was the push for this and get this, make sure that each person that is working is at least receiving minimum wage. Next slide. What kind of transition services does DOR provide? So DOR provides pre-employment transition services, which is pre-ETS, to its students with disabilities ages 16 to 21, and I alluded to that already. And then DOR also provides services to out-of-school youth ages 16 to 24. And pre-ETS helps young people begin making plans to determine their employment goals and what steps to take to reach those goals. I was alluding to that prior because I cannot say that over and over and over again. It's so important. Next slide. So there are 5 specific points or requirements under the WIOA, and those are the pre-ETS requirements. And one is help students explore types of employment for them so that they can definitely make a decision with some information instead of just saying, oh, what do you want to be? Provide internship opportunities for learning about employment, counseling about school opportunities after high school, train students to be ready for employment, train students to advocate for themselves. And the reason these things are in place, and you don't actually have to do an application for DOR to do this, to have these services, but you need to be a student within those age ranges and have a disability. It's because employers were stating that, and we have found this in statistics, that they are happy to employ individuals with disabilities, but they need to have some skills. And they should learn those skills early on as much as possible. So when they leave, high school, they are at least have some skills to make them employable. Next slide, please. So what else does DOR have to do to help students with disabilities? DOR must attend IEP meetings for students with disabilities when they are invited. They need to be invited in order for them to be obligated to show up for these IEP meetings. There's some talk about, how effective the conversation is when DOR is invited to the IEP. There just has to be, a lot of bit, a more discussion about, the roles of the entities, that what they will be doing to assist the individual, but they need to learn who the individual is, spend time with them, figure out what they want to be doing, and then that will tailor the type of services that each entity would be providing. And DOR must work with employers to develop employment opportunities for students with disabilities. DOR must work with schools to ensure that pre-employment transition services are provided to students. Next slide. So if I have an IEP, do I automatically can receive services from DOR? And the answer is no, because you need to apply for services. And this is for services in the general DOR section. You can use the IEP, though, as a type of evidence that you have a disability and to help show you that you qualify for DOR. I've used IEPs as well to see, there have been like already some assessments related to, how the individual learned, at what capacity did they end school as far as their comprehension, and that is good when I work with a client and DOR is trying to say, well, they can only get a that or capability of learning more is needed, and whether the school really did a good job in meeting the goals that the student needed. But all of that is, we need to, study it and research it and figure it out And then, you know, many things can be in an IEP, many things can be in an assessment, but whether did they get done? Were they really goals that were achieved? And those are conversations we have with the student and with the parents, whomever is available. Sometimes we also talk to the adult transition teachers who are they're easier to talk to because they're thinking of is transition and having the student leave high school into adulthood, and which is, you know, sometimes really hard for many individuals. I know it's hard for me, and I don't have a disability, intellectual disability. So next slide, please. So how do you apply? You can apply online. You can call and order an application by mail. You can go into the local office. But what I want you to know is that beyond what I just told you is that they must accept your application even if they think that you are not eligible for their services. Doesn't matter what they think. They have to go through the process of eligibility. Next slide. Do you need a referral from to apply for DOR? You do not need a referral from a regional center, for example, to receive DOR services. Prior to WIOA, that was the norm, where the regional center or the school would refer the student to DOR. And when DOR got the referral, then at that point they would talk to the student and the family. But that is no longer true. If you are 16, you can apply for DOR services directly on your own. Next slide. So how do I contact DOR? Here's their statewide number for you to contact, and their website, because you can apply online as well. Next. So if I fill out the DOR application, do I automatically receive services? No. Once you submit the application, DOR has 60 days to determine eligibility. During those 60 days, you may be sent for an evaluation. In some cases, they may want more time, and the decision is yours if you agree to extend those 60 days. And that's usually when a person is in school and receiving special ed services and can use the IEP to provide DOR. I mean, right there, you're establishing that there is a disability, and you're establishing that in our philosophy, we believe in our legal opinion is that anyone with a disability can benefit from DOR services, but that is something that you do have to meet as far as their criteria. Next slide. So you have to be a person with a disability. Due to the disability, it is difficult for you to obtain employment. You need DOR services to obtain or maintain employment, and you can benefit from DOR services. Next slide. How do I show I meet the requirements? There's a few examples that are automatic, pretty much, that you receive SSI and SSDI, or SSDI because you have a disability. You might have a special education IEP on file. You might have medical files. Regional Center IPP would also show example that you have a disability. And DOR assessments. Sometimes DOR needs to do an assessment because you don't have a record to show them that you do have a disability. Next slide. Can you receive accommodations if you participate in DOR assessment? Yes, absolutely yes. If you specifically ask for an accommodation, DOR must work with you to determine and provide you with appropriate and reasonable accommodations. I'm going to take a drink. Next slide. So what happens after I'm found eligible for DOR? You will be assigned a counselor to discuss your employment goal and what type of services you need from DOR. DOR has 90 days from when you are found eligible to develop your IPE. It's the individualized plan for, those are those words are switched. Individualized plan for employment. That's what IPE stands for. I repeat, in some cases, they may want more time, and it's your decision if you would like to consent to that. Next slide. I think I'm going pretty quickly, so get your questions ready. What is an IPE? An IPE is an agreement between the consumer and DOR. It describes what your employment goal is and what services you need to receive from DOR to reach your employment goal. DOR can only give you the services you need to reach your employment goal, which is written on the IPE. So the IPE is a very important document. It's kind of like an IPP and an IPE. Next slide, please. What types of IPE are there? And here's some examples. A typical employment plan is again with an employment goal, and there's a list of services that need to be provided. How did you reach that, that decision to pursue that goal? What are the different services in order to get there? Do you have to go to college? Do you need a certificate program? Do you need tutoring? Do you need transportation? There's, many things. It's individualized. So has to be a meeting and dialogue in order to discuss that. There are also employment plans with support for people who need more support than other people, such as a job coaching, a supported employment agency, and also there's customized employment where they can, the DOR can work with you and figure out what you would want to do. And they can have agencies that provide specific services to you to do that study of what kinds of skills you have, what desires you have, and how to gain some training, and then identify employers who can provide you with a customized employment setting. And that may be like, someone who is working with an agency and there's a position, but that individual can do maybe 3 job duties of that position. And that is also a job placement. And that is also that individual getting paid at least minimum wage to perform those duties. And then there's employment plans for self-employment as well. I think with DOR, it has been a little bit more complicated, self-employment, but I just want you to know that that's available. And so it's doable. Next slide. So how's your goal selected? Your goal should be based on your strengths, resources, skills, priorities, and interests. And that's part of a regulation, a state regulation. As a DOR consumer, you have the right to be an active partner in the planning process throughout the whole process. You also have the right to information to help you make selections. This is called informed choice. Next slide. Can I select any job I want? You can select the employment goal you want. DOR may ask you to participate in an assessment to learn more about your strengths, abilities, etc., and what supports you need to benefit from those services. DOR does not have to support an employment goal that, in their opinion, is not acceptable or suitable for you. If you disagree with DOR, you can appeal that decision. Next slide. When can DOR close the case? If you have been employed for 90 days and you and your counselor agree that you can continue your employment without DOR's help, then DOR may close the case. You may still be eligible post-employment services when the case is closed so that you can continue to succeed in your employment. DOR can also close the case if they can't locate you, if you don't cooperate, or if you say you want it closed. If you do not want your case closed, you can appeal. Next slide. So how do I appeal if I don't agree with DOR? You have 1 year to appeal DOR's decision. There are several types of appeals you can use. These include administrative review, mediation, and hearing. If you disagree with the outcome of the administrative review, you have 30 days to appeal and not 1 year. If you have questions about the appeals process or about DOR, you can contact the Client Assistance Program. Next slide. Thank you. So that is DOR in a nutshell. And at this point, I guess we can open for, I think there's questions in the chat.
Okay, thank you everyone. That concludes our training. We really appreciate you spending part of your afternoon with us. Big thank you to the disability rights team. Lonnie, Raymond, and Lisa, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us, Lisa. As a reminder, we will be sending out a follow-up email tomorrow with all of the materials and all of the links shared today. Okay, have a great evening, everyone.